Okay, so let's jump into a deep dive that asks you to look past the confident, capable adult you present to the world. We're going to examine something far more vulnerable, the concept of the inner child.
It's a really profound stack of sources, and they all kind of drive home one essential truth. Regardless of your age, your career, anything,
Yeah.
there is a little child inside your consciousness,
Yeah.
and that child needs love.
Yeah, and it's not just some cute metaphor, right? It's a living part of your emotional structure. What I found really insightful is how the sources talk about this being a universal need, but with different emotional flavors.
Exactly. I mean, if we look at the material, it suggests that for women, no matter how self-reliant they are, the inner child often feels like a tender little girl who needs help.
Mm.
And for men, no matter how confident they seem, it's often a little boy who just craves warmth and affection.
So our mission today is to explore the language this inner child is using, and hopefully give you the tools to finally start listening.
That sets the stage perfectly. We are all literally carrying a younger and often wounded version of ourselves everywhere we go.
So let's start with the question that the source material poses right at the beginning. It's so direct. When you look in the mirror, do you even see your inner child? And if you do, is that child happy?
That one question. It can reveal so much about our deepest emotional issues. See, every age you've ever been is still part of you. But the adult self often tries to seal off the memory of that wounded part. And that leads directly to what the sources call the inner war.
Let's unpack that inner conflict, because this is where all that daily self-criticism we all do, this is where it comes from. The sources trace it right back to this really painful moment in childhood.
Yeah, a child doesn't have the cognitive maturity to see a situation for what it is. Something goes wrong and they internalize it. The logic is, well, it's heartbreakingly simple. It's, if I could only do everything right, my parents would love me and wouldn't punish me.
So when things inevitably go wrong, the conclusion isn't, I made a mistake. It's, there must be something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm. A fundamental flaw. And the sources point to a moment, often around age 5, where this becomes a turning point. We mentally turn off or tune out that inner child because we believe they are the problem. We exile them.
And that exile creates this constant internal civil war that we live with. It pits the wounded inner child against what the material calls the inner parent.
And for most of us, that inner parent is just scolding the child almost nonstop. It's not a loving guide. It's the internalized voice of every fear, every rejection, every criticism we ever experienced.
And if you stop for a second and just listen to your own internal monologue, the language is brutal. The sources list the common ones. You're stupid. You're not good enough. You don't do anything right.
It becomes a habit. That self-criticism becomes the background noise of your adult life, our default setting. And this connects directly to adult distress, anxiety, procrastination, fear of failure.
Because the adult self is either totally ignoring that exiled child or is actively belittling them, just repeating the painful patterns of the past.
Exactly. So the core problem is a failure of presence. The adult self just checks out exactly when the child within needs them the most.
Which translates directly into our adult emotional reactions.
That's the key. Every time you feel that overwhelming fear or that intense anxiety, realize that it is the child within you who is scared. The adult mind might understand the logic of the situation, but the adult has disconnected, leaving that child completely alone in the terror.
So the path forward isn't just managing your mood, it's relationship development. The material is very clear. The adult and the child have to build a new relationship, one built on trust and safety.
Yes, because the adult has been AWOL for a long time. You have to become the parent you always needed.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we mend that relationship? The sources say the first step is something they call mirror work.
Right. Your work is about externalizing that relationship so you can actually offer some compassion. It forces you to stop and ask the hard questions. Who is this child? Why are they so unhappy? And what can I, the adult, do to help them feel safe and loved?
And the solution they propose for making contact is, well, it's beautifully simple, but it sounds like it requires real commitment. They say you should talk to your inner child about everything you do.
And it might sound a little silly at first, yeah, but it works.
Yeah.
Because at its heart, all the child needs is to be noticed, to feel seen. The crucial commitment is this. You have to let your inner child know that no matter what happens, no matter what, the adult self will never turn away or desert it again.
That feels like the foundational step, that commitment of perpetual presence. That's the moment the child might start to trust you again.
And to really cement that intention, the material gives you a very clear, powerful affirmation to use. I am willing to love and accept my inner child. Just starting there, saying that every day, can make a huge difference.
So this material is framed as day 8 in a larger program. It's like a workbook. And for day 8, we have some very specific, very practical exercises. Let's start with the one involving a photo.
This is hands-on work. The instructions find a photo of yourself from when you're about 5 years old, and you tape that photo directly onto your bathroom mirror. It's a literal representation of the child you're trying to reach.
Then you just look at the photo
Uh-huh.
and you assess it. Do you see a happy kid? Or do you see a miserable kid? That visual check-in is the first step.
And then the real work begins. You talk to your inner child in the mirror. You can talk to the photo, or just look at your own eyes and see the child in there. Using a childhood nickname can make it feel much more intimate.
And there's a really critical physical instruction here, which I think says a lot about how intense this can be. The sources tell you to sit down while you do this.
Yes, because if you're standing, when those difficult, painful feelings come up, and they will, you'll be tempted to literally just run out the door. You'll abandon the child all over again. So you sit, you have a box of tissues ready, and you start talking.
You share your innermost thoughts, your fears. And after that, you use specific affirmations to soothe the child, to signal that the new, loving inner parent is finally on duty. The affirmations are short.
Very short and effective. I love you, dear one. I am here for you. You are safe. And then the final one, which is like a transfer of power. The power is within you.
Wow. Okay, so beyond the photo, there's a second exercise for day 8 that's designed to bypass the logical adult brain. It's drawing and journaling. You just need some crayons or colored pencils.
This is a technique to access your non-dominant brain hemisphere. You're told to use your non-dominant hand, so your left hand if you're right-handed, to draw a picture of yourself as a child. It bypasses the inner critic. It doesn't have to be good art. You just let the child's expression flow out.
And just like the photo, you tape this drawing to the mirror. Then comes the journaling part.
Right. You look at that drawing, and you ask the inner child 5 specific questions, and you write down the answers. The questions are, what do you like? What do you dislike? What frightens you? What do you need? And what can I do to make you happy?
That feels like the most direct line of communication you could possibly get to your subconscious. And after all that, you just close your eyes and reflect on what you've learned.
Yes, that synthesis is essential. All of this intense work culminates in what the source material calls the heart thought for day 8.
So when you put all these pieces together, the mirror, the photo, the drawing, what is the ultimate message? What's the adult's main job here?
The heart thought is crystal clear on this. It's take care of your inner child. It emphasizes that this is the part of you that is frightened, the part that is hurting, and crucially, the part that just doesn't know what to do.
So the adult's job isn't to get rid of the child, but to embrace it, to lead and protect it.
Exactly. You embrace the child, you love it, you take care of its needs, and you let it know constantly that you will never again desert it. The final affirmation that sums it all up is, I embrace my inner child with love.
Now, to help with all this, to create the internal safety you need for this kind of vulnerable work, the sources also include a guided meditation.
The goal of this meditation is just total systemic release. To signal safety to your nervous system, you start with deep breaths, letting your body settle.
And the technique is designed to move tension out of the body, starting at the bottom and moving up. You begin with your feet, allowing your toes, your insteps, your heels, your ankles to just go completely limp and heavy.
And that feeling of warmth and relaxation flows up your legs, through the calves, the knees, the thighs. You feel them become heavy and relaxed. Then you move up to your hips, buttocks, and waistline.
From there, you direct that piece into your chest, you let your shoulders drop, and then you feel it move down your arms. Relaxing the hands, letting the last of the tension flow right out through your fingertips. It's a very deliberate release.
And finally, the relaxation moves into your neck. You soften your jaw, your cheeks, your eyes. You smooth out your forehead and your scalp. And the mantra you repeat throughout is just a simple, calming, let go, let go, let go.
That systematic relaxation is the adult creating a tangible safe space, calming the nervous system so you can face the child without panicking.
Which really raises an important point about vulnerability. When we stop ignoring or belittling that child, we reclaim that vulnerability. It's not a weakness to be fixed, but the most essential part of ourselves that needs our constant, unwavering protection.
Absolutely. The whole idea is that we have to become the source of unconditional love that we might have missed back then. The adult is now the rescuer.
And that means you could apply this right away. You now understand what your deepest self needs: emotional safety and permission to just exist.
So here's a final thought for you to explore. If your inner critic, that scolding inner parent, were to just spontaneously take a full day off, leaving you completely alone and safe, what one new action, based purely on what your inner child wants rather than what they fear, would you finally take today?